Viewers, our top story today, L&T Chairman S.N. Subrahmanyan has sparked a massive controversy with his comments suggesting employees should work 90 hours a week and even on Sundays to remain competitive. In the video that has asked why L&T required its employees to work on Saturdays, Mr. Subrahmanyan said, "I regret I am not able to make you work on Sundays, to be honest. If I can make you work on Sundays, I will be more happy because I work on Sundays also." He made a misogynistic comment by saying, "What do you do sitting at home? How long can you stare at your wife? And how long can the wives stare at their husbands?" Samiksha?
Well, that's right, Rhythm. And, let's once again tell our viewers that S.N. Subrahmanyan has quoted a controversy. He's advocated for 90 hours work week. He's even gone on to say that he expects his employees to work even on Sundays, something which has drawn sharp remarks, responses, not just from the India Inc., but from celebrities and even politicians for that matter. But let's once again run our viewers through those statements that have been made by S.N. Subrahmanyan, who earns 51 crore a year, which is 535 times more than what an average employee working at L&T earns. So he says, how long can wives stare at their husbands? This was a remark which reeks of misogynistic mindset of the L&T chairman. He says that Chinese workers put in 90 hours a week. So this is from that conversation he was having with his employees, where he said that he had earlier spoken to a Chinese professional who said that the Chinese work 90 hours a day. So this was spoken in that meet that he held with his staff. He's even gone on to say that I will be happier if I can make you work on Sundays. So it seems that this is an attempt to make it a new normal, attempt by the L&T chairman to make his employees work, or rather make the people of the country work even on Sundays, 90 hours a week, which is more than 14 hours a day. He says that Indians should work 70 hours a week to contribute to the nation's progress. Beg your pardon, this was a statement that earlier came in from the Infosys co-founder Narayana Murthy, who had pitched for a 70-hour work week, whereas we are seeing now S.N. Subrahmanyan, who's called for a 90-hour work week. He's even gone on to say that one should work on Sundays as well. Let's also run through those statements that have been made by CEOs and co-founders of other startups and companies. It's Bhavish Agarwal, the Ola CEO, who says, "Do not think that work-life balance is the right construct. Saturday, Sunday off, not an Indian thing." So there we have even Bhavish Agarwal, the Ola CEO, who's tried to make it normal working on Saturdays and Sundays, not thinking that working for longer hours, the impact that it could have on one's mental health as well. Elon Musk, for that matter, the Tesla CEO, has said that he does not take rest. He sleeps, he wakes up, and he gets back to work. He said you just have to put in 80 to 100 hours a week every week, which is equal to working over 14 hours a day. Let's also run through other statements that have been made. Kotak AMC MD Nilesh Shah, a market expert, who says one generation of Indians should be working for 84 hours a week to ensure faster growth of the country. So you have not just one, two, but several of these leaders from the market, from market experts, India Inc. leaders, and now we have L&T chairman for that matter, Anupam Mittal, Shadi.com founder. He says people should put in 80 hours of work in a week early on in their career. So Anupam Mittal also in similar vein pitching for 80 to 100 hours work week. Adit Palij, the Zepto CEO, says, candidly, working 80 to 100 hours a week, we could have probably worked half of that with a lot less stress. So you have these leaders from the Ola CEO to Zepto CEO, the L&T chairman, and Narayana Murthy, the co-founder of Infosys for that matter, who's pitched for 70 hours a day. So that is a statement that came in from the Zepto CEO. In fact, additionally to add here, the statement that came in from the L&T that has defended the statements of Subrahmanyan, S.N. Subrahmanyan for that matter, saying that it aligns The statements of S.N. Subrahmanyan, they align with the policy of the company, and that it is a step in the right direction. But let's also talk about the actor who's waded in this whole controversy. It's Deepika Padukone, who's unequivocally expressed that how this statement must be condemned in harshest of terms, given that working for 90 hours a week or even 70 hours a week would lead to burnout, mental stress, and that it's no way pragmatic. She says, and I quote here, shocking to see people in senior positions making such statements. So we have Deepika Padukone also leading from the front, coming out in the open and saying that this statement must be condemned. Jwala Gutta, the Olympian, who's also weighed in, she says, why shouldn't he stare at his wife? Well, this is with reference to that misogynist remark that was made by S.N. Subrahmanyan, who says, who spoke about this in his meeting with his staff. Jwala Gutta further says that sad that educated people not taking mental health seriously. So she's spoken on two issues. One, of course, on that 90-hour work pitch, and the second, the misogynist remarks that were made by the L&T MD. Let's also read out that statement from Harsh Goenka, the India Inc. leader. He's chairman of RPG Enterprises. He's known to be very vocal about these issues. He says, why not rename Sunday to Sun Duty? So making it amply clear that yes, 90-hour work week is definitely not feasible. He's also gone on to say that work-life balance isn't optional, it's essential. So making a stand clear that there needs to be a balance when it comes to personal life and workplace. Rohit Kapoor, the Swiggy CEO, says that you do not need to hustle and work till 11 a.m. So Rohit Kapoor, Swiggy CEO, also making that statement that some days you need to work till late, but not daily. So definitely it cannot be a new norm. We cannot make this the new normal. Working 90 hours a day or even 90 hours a week or even 70 hours a week for that matter. Rhythm, over to you. But yes, these statements that came in from the L&T chairman, Sridhar Vemu or even Narayan Murthy for that matter, they only highlight that there are some leaders who are trying to make it a new normal, working for 90 hours a week or even 70 hours a week. Rhythm.
Oh yes, former Union Minister, viewers, BJP leader KJ Alphonse on L&T chairman 90-hour week has also commented, I think the statement makes no sense. When I was the Union Minister, he says, I used to go to the office alone on Sunday, but expecting it from everyone is way too much. He says, demanding from the entire country that one should work 90 hours is ridiculous. Former Union Minister questions the 90-hour week suggestion. He says that he used to go to work on Sundays alone, but expecting it from everyone is too much. And let's go across to that reaction coming in from him.
See, India is only a 3 trillion economy. I mean, China is much, much bigger, 5 times, 6 times bigger. And the Honorable Prime Minister wants India to become a developed nation by 2047. Our per capita income is below 2,400, while that of China is around 13,500, and Malaysia, Indonesia is about 25,000, US is about 70,000. Therefore, India needs to work much harder to become a developed nation. I have no doubts on this. I've been an IAS officer. I worked extremely hard in the IAS for 27 years. Then I quit and joined politics. When I joined politics, I worked even much harder than as an IAS officer. Then when I became a union minister, I was sleeping maybe 4 hours a day, not more than 5 hours. I don't think any minister in the Modi government sleeps more than 5 hours. They work more than 18 hours. So hard work is extremely important. I would go even on a Sunday to my office as a union minister, but no staff. I said, no staff will come. I will go alone to my office. That's a day for me to think, for me to organize my ideas. But I don't really think that's fair to the rest of the employees. I think we need a balance. I think people need to really balance between family, happiness, their children, and all that is extremely important.
It's a debate that sparked off a controversy. Joining Samiksha and me, Dr. Ranjeet Mehta, CEO, Secretary General, PHDCCI. Mr. Mehta, I ask you your first comments, your first views on this. Is this feasible? Is this overwhelming? Is this going to be helping in a work-personal life balance?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. It's a very important subject. I think that expecting from the employees to work for around 90 hours is beyond imagination. I understand that. However, I feel that it is very important to work hard in today's highly competitive environment. At the same time, many studies show that when people work for long hours continuously, then their efficiency also goes down. At the same time, their motivation levels also go down. So now people at the top, when they are CEOs, in that case, they have a privilege, rather, I would say, working for 90 hours. But the same cannot be expected from the employees who are growing, who have their children to look after, who have other responsibilities, social responsibilities back at home. I think that if we inspire people rather than forcing them to work for 90 hours, it is the inspiration of a leader, if that can be there, then people automatically, when you are inspired to work for longer hours, it is coming from within. So then that way the productivity will also go up. However, making it a new norm or making it a normal routine is not sustainable at in the long run. So the productivity will go down, efficiency will decrease. So therefore, it is very important to have that work-life balance. You cannot compare. Most CEOs, they work for very long hours. I understand. I also work for more than 70 hours, but that does not mean that I expect people to work in the same manner, because we have to have some standard timing so that they, like in a city like Delhi or Mumbai, where people spend around 4 to 5 hours just on commuting, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. So it is very difficult to expect these kind of things. However, I believe that
Right.
hard work is extremely important. This kind of culture needs to be created in the organization by motivating people, by inspiring people, by giving them rewards for what they are doing.
Sure.
Not that it can be a new norm.
Yes. But doctor, hypothetically, if we were to assume that if one works for 90 hours a week, do you even think that's feasible? One, and also talk to us about this burnout here, which we have been speaking about. How many hours does one really need to work every day, or even a week for that matter, to ensure that there is no burnout, so as to say?
First of all, working for 90 hours is not sustainable, because people of all ages are there in the workforce. There are people who are newly married. There are people who are doing many other, in the sense they have many responsibilities back at home. There are people who come from very far off places at work. So therefore, this is not sustainable in the long run. Secondly, definitely, if you really by force or by, if you really force people to work for longer hours, in that case, there are then heartburns, there are stress levels go up. In that case, employees' efficiency finally will come down.
Shubhangi.
I think, this cannot be a rule. However, I think that, it has to be self-driven by the employee. The motivation level has to be so high that people are ready to put in that much of work, because reward system, it is both ways. Like if the reward systems are so high that people are really working, there are many people who work. I know many of the people in organizations in my whole career I have seen, they have been working very, very hard, but at the same time they are
Yes.
being paid for that. So to expect
That's
this from each and every employee, I think it is beyond imagination. It is not sustainable in the long run. This is not going to work. Finally, people have their families.
That's
they have
right, Dr. Mehta.
other things to do at home.
Yes.
Because as a human being, we are social people,
And
right?
as you're speaking, Dr. Mehta, the fact of the matter is that this is something that has to be left for each one to be taking a decision on themselves. I thank you for being with us. I also want to move on. Viewers, call us if you have any views. One of the callers who's joining us from Pune, Shubhangi. Shubhangi, your first words on a 90-hour week. Do you think this is progressive? Do you think nation building can be helped by this?
Yeah, good evening. No, I really don't think so that nation building is depend on this, because I don't think is more hours, more productivity. In fact, it might just reduce. You should work hard, not work long. Long period of time can burn you out, and everybody requires a work and life balance. So all these big people like Elon Musk or Narayan Murthy or Mr. Goenka who want more productivity should consider that they can, instead of this one set of people working for 90 hours, they should have 3 sets of people working for 8 hours a day. And this way they can have 24 hours a day and 168 hours a week. And that way productivity will grow. Plus, it's a win-win situation for an employer, for an employee. Everybody is happy and nobody gets burned out, and the employees have proper work and life balance. They have good health, good well-being. It's good for their peace of mind. So I really don't think that 90 hours a week is feasible in most of the cases.
Yes, appreciate you speaking to us, Shubhangi. Let's go across to Krishna. He's a caller joining us from Bengaluru. Krishna, do you have enough motivation at your workplace to work for 90 hours a week?
Good evening. See, the answer is, I think, very simple. 90 hours a week for 365 days a year is not something which is sustainable. And I don't think that's what Mr. Subrahmanyan talked about or Mr. Narayan Murthy talked about. So I have worked in corporate for, certain periods of time in the work schedules. Certain products have to be released to the market. Customers are waiting. And there are a couple of weeks where, me and my team have worked for 16 hours a day. But that's for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks max, and not more than that. But then, of course, everyone takes a break for a couple of days, a compensatory off, and those kind of things, and they rejuvenate and come back. So I don't think anybody intends to, and it's not practical and sustainable, as the previous speaker said. But at the same time, if we are talking about 8 hours a week, the communist way of working, I think those days are over. I don't think that's going to be possible. The labor law says 48 hours a week. Yes, 48 hours a week is the peak. But there are definitely organizations which will require you to work at specific periods of time. And I have done it myself. I asked my team to work, but then they will be adequately compensated by giving time off for all the extra hours they put in. They go take a break, go with the family. They are incentivized for doing that, taking that break, all that. But
that's right.
If we are going to say that we are going to form a norm across the country, and we are all going to...
And I thank our guests for joining us today. Also, the calls that are coming in. This is something we're going to continue looking at on whether this is really going to help in nation building. The Work for Life debate sparked off a big controversy. It's something Samiksha and I are going to come back to you, viewers, throughout the